So I also chose Nantasket Beach. Not only am I really familiar with it, and it's one of my favorite beaches with the most beautiful rocks, but it's also a beach that I remember growing up not seeing a lot of people who looked like me. There wasn't a lot of diversity from what I experienced. And as we move forward, as we keep coming to this beach, as we always will, we have our traditions, our family traditions here every year. I started noticing a lot more diversity and a lot more people from the community where I'm from or where family and friends are from coming and utilizing this area. And I think that's really important. And I'm really excited to see and share, what we can use at Nantasket Beach and hopefully get more people out here and increase that diversity. We're going to explore another natural material at the beach, which I'm pretty sure you heard of it. Seaweed. This here looks like it might be bladder rock seaweed, and this here looks like it could be sea moss. But you always want to make sure when you're foraging and collecting natural materials, out in the earth, you want to make sure you do your research, just so you're keeping things safe and you're not over harvesting or over foraging and not messing up the kind of natural balance for the rest of the sea creatures and critters that are around. When you collect seaweed, you want to make sure that you're not getting something that's been sitting out in the sun all day or just like sitting out on the shore. Some of the seaweed up top is kind of dry, and that's not what you would want to use. I'm going to go down to the bottom of this rock where it's still in the ocean, still has some moisture, and is still kind of soaking in all the salt and sodium and iodine in the water. So I'm just going to take some like this, cut off a piece, do it at a little slant. That's how I like to cut. It's really pretty. Looks like it's mixed a little bit. And I'm gonna grab some more, just a little bit. We don't need much today because we're not making anything really big, but we're still gonna have some fun with it. So seaweed is known as a sea vegetable. It soaks up a lot of, the salt from the ocean, so it's very rich in sodium, very rich in iodine, magnesium, calcium, vitamin A, and I believe vitamin C. So it's very medicinal, very healthy, and you'd most know like the seaweed and like culinary purposes, for like sushi or things like that. There's nori seaweed, the kind of dried packed seaweed chips, things like that. But seaweed, you can tincture seaweed, you can infuse it in oil and use it in cooking for whatever you use olive oil for. You can infuse in some olive oil and just get all those nutrients and those minerals and vitamins and everything you need. Another use for seaweed is externally. Seaweed has really powerful skin benefits. It's very hydrating, keeps the skin moisturized. Again, with the vitamins and minerals in there, it makes sure that your skin is plump and firm and just has this really youthful, refreshing look. It also helps reduce the appearance of scars and relieves the pain from burns and cuts and things like that. You can infuse seaweed in oil and make your own seaweed lotion. You can make seaweed soaps, things like that. What you would do, you would want to collect the seaweed. You can rinse it off in the ocean as it kind of collects everything from the ocean, especially the salt content, and then you want to put it in a mesh bag. You want to put it in a mesh bag so it can drain, the water can drain, and it's not just sitting there and turn into a big slimy gush by the time you get home. So make sure that it has drainage in a mesh bag, and you can go home with a piece of string, twine, whatever you have, swoop the seaweed over there after you rinse it in some fresh water and dry it out for a couple hours a day, and once it's dried you can start infusing it in your carrier oil of choice. I'm Joy of Joyefully Natural, again a garden to table herbal remedies business. You can find me at joyfullynatural.com. That's JOYEFULLY natural.com. You can find me on Etsy. My shop name is Joyfully Natural, and on social media platforms Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Joyfully Natural. Thanks guys.